Welcome back to Moving to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini. In this video, we're going to cover one of the most common questions that I get, and that's how do you buy and sell at the same time? Well, there's definitely more than one way to do it, and we're going to cover them all right now. All right, well, in this video, we are going to cover 5 different strategies for buying and selling at the same time. And before we do that, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button. That way you get alerted to all of our future videos. And then if you are planning a move to Hampton Roads or within Hampton Roads, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I would love to help you out. All right, let's get to our 5 strategies for buying and selling at the same time. All right, so our first strategy is going to be something that you may be a little familiar with, and that's the home sale contingency. So that would be us writing an offer on somebody's house where they're listing it for sale. We're going to write an offer and we'll say, we'd love to buy your house. However, in order to close on the purchase of your home, we need to close on the sale of our home first. And so that's really just going to free up your financing in order to make that purchase happen. Now, there are a lot of things that go into a home sale contingency. So the first question would be, is your home already on the market? If you're on the market and your home is already under contract, well, you still may need to write in that home sale contingency because you still need to close. However, you're in a really strong position because you're under contract. Hopefully you've done home inspection, things like that. Now, if your home isn't on the market at all, we would have to go through a process and the sellers would have to agree to allow you to go under contract and then get your house ready and on the market and get it sold, and be willing to wait the amount of time that it takes you to market and get your house under contract and get it to closing, and then close on that sale when the proceeds become available. So there is a little bit of risk from the seller side on that. Now, the great thing about it is it reduces your risk because you're not forced to close on that new home until you've closed on the sale of yours. And you're really going to be in a position where you can free up your financing to make a smooth transition. And then hopefully you'll be able to transition directly from your current home into the next home. Now, there are some cons that go along with this. The first being that if you are in a strong seller's market and you have a home sale contingency, then it's going to be very difficult to find a seller who's willing to accept the added risk of your home sale. So, we have been, it's March 2023 right now, we've been in a strong seller's market for several years. I have not seen very many home sale contingencies go through. Now, back in 2011, 2012, they were extremely common because people were just happy to get an offer. So it really depends on what market you're in and whether or not that's going to fly, because if sellers can just get a deal where with no home sale contingencies, then that's a lot easier for them, much reduced risk, and they're going to be ready to go. Now, the other con is that these deals generally have what we call either a kick-out clause or a first right of rescission. And basically what that's going to be is generally a 48 or 72-hour period where if you are under contract with a home sale contingency and someone comes along and writes an offer that the sellers find acceptable with no contingency, they can say to you, hey, you have 48 hours to remove this contingency or we're going to kick you out of the deal and we're going to take the other one. And that's happened. I've had it happen to clients of mine and it stinks. And so you could be in a position where your home is on the market, you've put all the effort into getting it ready to sell, and you are marketing it, trying to get that offer on it, and then all of a sudden find out that you got kicked out of the deal and you can no longer get it. So depends on really what market you're in. There are some great advantages. If you can get a home sale contingency, that is a very good and convenient way in order to do the buy and sale at the same time. Our second strategy, if we can make the finances work, is going to be to just go buy the new home, sell the current home, and then recast your mortgage after the proceeds have been applied. All right, so let's walk through how this works. So basically what you would need to be able to do is carry both mortgages. And so you buy the new home, maybe you use a minimal amount down, say you're going conventional, you just do 5% down on the new home, then you get under contract on that, and then at that point, you have the option of either putting your house on the market right away, or you wait until you've actually closed on the new home to go ahead and sell your old home. Now, what you'll do is once you sell the old home, you can take the proceeds of that and then you can have your your loan officer do what's called a recast. And so basically for around a $400, $500 fee, they can take as much of the proceeds as you want from the sale of your home and apply it to the new mortgage and then re-amortize your mortgage so it gives you that lower total monthly payment. And a lot of people do that during strong sellers markets where home sale contingencies aren't being accepted. So, I mean, the pros to this, from your sales side, if you've gone to the point where you've bought the new house and then you move in, now you're selling a vacant home. It's a lot easier if you have pets. You don't have to deal with showings. You don't have to keep your home perfectly clean. It does make life a lot easier. Some of the hard parts with doing this is, you may have to make a couple of double payments. And a lot of times we see people go with this strategy if they're making a big move up. So if you have a nice, really low mortgage and then you're buying up into a bigger mortgage, maybe carrying that smaller mortgage for a couple months isn't that big a deal. Depends on how fast you can get your home sold and closed. And then I guess the other hard part about this is if you go and you buy the new home, you could be out a good chunk of your savings until the other home sells. So you might have drained your bank account quite a bit. But the benefit to this is for just a few bucks, you don't have to write a home sale contingency. You can be in the new home, or you have the option to go under contract on your new home and then list your other home right away and see if you can get it closed before your new home sells or shortly thereafter, so you don't overlap payments and your bank account isn't drained for more than a few days. So this has been a strategy that's been very popular, since the market became a heavy seller's market several years ago. Our next strategy is another buy first, then sell second strategy, and that's going to be to take out a line of equity on your current home or do a bridge loan. Now, there are a few specific scenarios where we see that this comes in really handy. And for most of this, you need to have a lot of equity in your home, or you need to be going from a really expensive market to an inexpensive market where the amount of equity that you have could potentially cover your purchase in full, or maybe the most of it. So good scenario here would be, you own your big home outright and you want to take out a line of equity on that home that will cover your downsize purchase completely. So you can go, banks will do an 80, 90, or even there's one here locally that does 100% line of equity. And you can use that equity to make cash purchases. And I think that's the big part of it, is that you're able to write cash offers. So for just about any seller, they're going to look at you like, as the strongest buyer because a cash buyer is great. So you can go in, you can write a cash offer on a property and buy it outright. Or, maybe you don't have a lot of cash on hand, you could take out a line of equity and you could use that to at least put 10, 20% down, cover your closing costs, and write strong offers as well. So it really just depends on where you are, with your total finances and how much equity you have in your current house. Now, a couple of negatives in this, really, it's just that you're going to have to pay for some closing costs. Now, if you want to go with a bridge loan, those have full loan closing costs, so most lenders really don't recommend them at all. We get asked about them a ton, but the line of equity scenario is a lot better because the closing costs on a line of equity are usually very minimal. So you can pull out a line of equity, use that cash to go help purchase your next home, and then you can sell your home. Now, you've just taken out a big line of equity. So the only difference is that now when you close, you're just not going to get a lot in terms of proceeds. So, if you had a couple $100,000 in equity, but you just took that out to use on the new home, well, that's gone. So you got to pay off the line of equity and you have to pay off the original mortgage on the house if there still was one, and then you get whatever's left. But this is a great way to make a move if you are, especially if you're retired and you don't have a lot of income, maybe you can't even qualify for a new loan because you don't have very much income, but you have a ton of equity in your house. Use that equity, go make a cash offer on a new home and be able to go get it really, really easily because you're a strong cash buyer. Our fourth strategy is what we call a seller rent back. So in this scenario, you're going to go ahead and sell your home, but we're going to negotiate a deal where you're able to continue living in your house once the new owners have closed on it. And you're going to rent the house back from them for up to, say, 60 days. And so I say 60 days because if those people are using an owner-occupant loan, then their loan officer is not going to want to see a rent back of more than 60 days because then you get into underwriting problems with it now being considered an investment property. So on the contract, it has to say 60 days or less. Now, what that means is that you get to keep living in your house while we go house hunting, and hopefully within, say, 30 days, we're able to find you a new home, and then you go about 30 days from contract to close. So one of the tough parts about it is that it does create a tight timeline for finding your new home. So if you're going to go this route, you probably need to be in a position where you know that the house that you want to buy is going to be available. So if you're looking for something extremely specific in a very specific area, probably not the best strategy to use, because the chances of that becoming available in the next 30 days may be slim. But if you know that you're going into something where the properties become available all the time, that's great, because the big advantages to this are really that you eliminate your home sale contingency, so you don't have to write that home sale contingency into your offer, and you have your cash available and on hand. So you have all the equity that you've gained from the sale, you've got cash, you can write strong offers on the next property. So you're in a really good position there. Of course, now you are paying rent on a property, so that's a negative. I mean, maybe we negotiate a situation where you don't pay rent, but I don't see a buyer doing that for too long. I'm sure in some markets they do. Now, and of course the other thing being you're on a tight timeline. You've got to be able to find the thing that you want fast, or you need to find another living situation. Our fifth and final strategy is for you to go find a short-term rental. And in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to sell your house, and then you are going to go find a short-term rental, whether that's a month-to-month rental, an Airbnb, which is a great place to look for short-term rentals these days, or you're just going to go move in with, say, family or a friend for a while you house hunt. And this is going to do two big things. Really, it's going to eliminate that home sale contingency, and then it's going to free up your cash to make your next purchase. Very similar to the house rentback. Now, in this scenario, we find this more common with people who are relocating to a new area. So whether you have to relocate for a new job, or you really just want to be there in the area to do the house hunting in person, and you don't like the idea of renting your own home back and doing the FaceTime thing, then this is a really great scenario for you. So a lot of times too, this gives you an opportunity to get to the area, kind of be there, look around, get used to where you want to live, where you don't want to live. And if you can be on a month-to-month rental, then you can start writing offers on properties in specific places where you want to live now that you're familiar with the area. Now, cons to this, you may have to move twice. So, if you move your entire house into an apartment or into a home, and now, you're there for a few months and then you have to move again, kind of stinks. A lot of people don't like this strategy because of that. Or you may end up paying a lot of rental and storage fees for your things. A lot of the big moving companies can actually store all your stuff for a pretty long time while you house hunt, and then when you're ready for it, they'll bring it to you, but they're going to charge you storage fees that whole time. So the expenses can kind of start to rack up when you use this strategy, but it might be the right one, if you're going to a new area and you really want to get a feel for it before you make your home purchase. Okay, well, those are our 5 strategies for buying and selling at the same time. There really isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy, so it's great that there are different options for different people in different stages of their life. To be honest, though, none of them are simple. They all take some sort of sacrifice on your behalf, and there's usually a lot of stress involved and financial, insecurity at the same time that you have to deal with when making this big move. Now, hopefully with a little bit of guidance, we can help put you in a position to make this as easy as possible. It's really about picking the path of least resistance oftentimes. So if you're making a move to Hampton Roads or within Hampton Roads, my team and I are here and we'd love to help you out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. Now, if you are not local to me, but you'd still like to be connected with a great agent, reach out to me. I can hook you up with an amazing EXP agent local to you. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone else who may find it helpful, and then subscribe to this channel so that you can see all of our future videos. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with EXP Realty. Thanks so much for watching.